we have a dilemma here as to who introduces this song, because I'm from the north of England, and so I pronounce my vowels very accurately and correctly. And Pauline's from London. Now, the song is about herring girls, women who got fish. It's not about herring gulls, big white things that steal your chips on Cromer Pier. Now, when I say those two things, obviously it's perfectly clear what I mean, but Pauline, if you're from London, herring gulls, they're all the same, aren't they? Herring gulls. What's this? It's an herring gull.
There have been a few people who have got confused. And if you are confused, then the song doesn't make a lot of sense, because they gut fish and they pack them in barrels and they get on the train. It's really difficult to believe that that's what birds do. So it is about herring girls. And I'm sure you all know about this, living where we do. Their job was to gut and pack the fish all the way down. They worked their way from Scotland all the way down the east coast to Yarmouth. They started in June and they finished in Yarmouth in about December time. And then they went back home, and then they did all the same thing again next summer.
But they were very clever, because whereas the fishermen had to travel on the boat, so on the nasty, cold, wet sea, the herring girls came by train, which is a much more sensible thing to do. And they were interesting people. They were hard-working, hard-living, and they had a certain aura about them because they spent all day gutting fish. And we read a story, a man in Yarmouth who used to let rooms to the herring girls when they came down, and he said that when they left, he had to change the wallpaper because of the aura.
There's a few things I need to tell you about in the song. A kist is a trunk, and that's a big trunk where they packed all their stuff. The futtle is the knife that they used to gut the fish with, and the farlins were the big troughs, metal troughs, where they had the fish tipped into from the boats. Before farlins were invented, they used to have to pick up the fish from the floor, from baskets on the floor. And you can imagine they do one fish a second, so picking up a fish every second, bending down, was pretty terrible. So the farlins made it a little bit more pleasant for them, but I don't think it was very pleasant. I wouldn't recommend it. So this is called Following the Herring.
It's rather a long introduction, that, wasn't it? A bit like Radio 4.
Now the summer months are coming, the boats will leave the land, the herring girls are ready and gathered on the sand to carry all the fishermen to drifters out at sea and down the line by steam train to work upon the quay. From Stronsay, Wick and Aberdeen to Berwick and on down, southbound to Scarborough and on to Yarmouth town, with a longing in our hearts for those we leave behind. We're following the herring down the east coast line. Arriving at the shoreline, we'll unpack the kist and bind up all our fingers so the futtle doesn't nip. A gutting and a salting from the rising of the sun, ankle deep in fish guts till the day's catch is done. From Stronsay, Wick and Aberdeen to Berwick and on down, southbound to Scarborough and on to Yarmouth town, with a longing in our hearts for those we leave behind. We're following the herring down the east coast line. Dressed in grimy oilskins, we work in teams of 3, 1 fish every second, me sister Maud and me. Cousin Dolly packs the barrels, she's the tallest to be found. She reaches to the bottom and her feet don't leave the ground. From Stronsay, Wick and Aberdeen to Berwick and on down, southbound to Scarborough and on to Yarmouth town, with a longing in our hearts for those we leave behind. We're following the herring down the east coast line. I'm working at the Farlins for 15 hours a day. The smell gets in your underwear and never goes away. With a briny in our wounds, it's enough to make you weep. We'll be seeing all those little silver darlings in our sleep. From Stronsay, Wick and Aberdeen to Berwick and on down, Southbound to Scarborough and on to Yarmouth town, with a longing in our hearts for those we leave behind. We're following the herring down the east coast line. The fishermen get the shanties, the glory and the fame. The herring girls get nothing but hardship, toil and pain. If it wasn't for the likes of us, Dolly, Maud and me, there'd be no bloaters for your breakfast or kippers for your tea. From Stronsay, Wick and Aberdeen to Berwick and on down, southbound to Scarborough and on to Yarmouth town, with a longing in our hearts for those we leave behind. We're following the herring down the east coast line. We're following the herring down the east coast